Every person has an opinion on everything. And one thing that most people don't like to normally think about is how political parties affect the United States of America. Now, in the United States, political parties are split into two factions. One of them is Republicans and the other is Democrats. And these two factions control just about everything that happens in the political scene. And it is very rare to have an independent party come in and upset an election in any way, shape, or form. For example, the Senate, two of the current members of the Senate are from independent parties, but the other 98 are from either Republican or Democrat. And really, it's amazing to think about how many voters call themselves independent, but nearly 35% of voters call themselves Democrats and 20% call themselves Republicans. But 40% of voters call themselves independent, and they will swing either way. But if you're running as an independent, that means you have to also win over the votes of either Democrats or Republicans. If you're a Democrat, then you already have that 35% of votes that comes with the benefits of being a Democrat. And it's just run through your party. Not only that, the Democratic Party will also supply you with financial aid. It will pay for advertisements, it will pay for billboards, anything to promote their agenda. And just to keep them in power, or to get them in power in the first place. Republicans will do the same exact thing. No matter how the elections are going, they always plan on taking the upper hand on the other party. Now, there is downsides to having Democratic or Republican parties pay for advertisements, and that is that the independent politicians that aren't associated with either party aren't able to pay for advertisements, billboards, any of the things that would normally get a Democrat or Republican elected. They're forced instead to rely on their own money and their own ingenuity and thoughts to keep them head and shoulders above the rest of the competition. And one person that has broken this trend recently would be Donald Trump. Whether you love him or hate him, he really did push the Republican Party to its limits. He fought against the ideals of what the Republican Party stands for and put his own agenda in front of the party agenda, because that was what he wanted to do. He had the money to back up his ideas, and he didn't have to rely on the Republican Party's money as many other Republicans do. So he just went on his merry way and, well, he became president. And even after he became president, the Republican Party started to conform to him instead of him reforming to it. And while it seems like a good thing because their ideas are changing, that also leaves other people's ideas still left out to dry, pretty much. They aren't represented extremely well. And since the Republican Party started to conform to him, he started to change the way that they thought about things and the way that they tried to get voters to vote for them. And while this may seem like a good thing because the parties show that they are still able to change, it doesn't mean much because it still leaves some people's ideas out left by the wayside. They aren't fully represented, and they don't have a true say. And while this may be okay, because they are given some compromise, they are allowed to vote for who they believe to be best represents them. And compromise is really what politics is made of in the modern era. And this compromise, while it may be a good thing to compromise, in my opinion, compromise shouldn't be the main idea behind politics. It should be about getting your voice heard and your opinion heard. And it should be about representing yourself instead of being forced to follow what others believe.